Hi, I'm back. You know what? So, I just did a Divine Femme read, and at first, usually I post a Virgo read. Those haven't been very popular lately, and I was thinking, but then I started having, I was over there, when I was putting my other cards into the card cleansing tub, like, and this is Miss Mimi. She wanted to come and join us for this part. When I was over there, I was, looking at what cards I felt, led to use for this one. And then at first I started feeling like, oh, maybe I'll do a reading for the Divine Masculines. And then I still felt like, oh, who is this really for? And I didn't know. So I was going to get the tarot to identify who this would probably be for. And then I actually have my Language of Love deck and my non-communication deck. So what we're going to do is we're going to see whose energy we're looking at right now. And then we'll get some no contact messages, and then we'll use the Language of Love deck as our response for what. So, because the no contact is what that person would want to say to you, you know. So we're gonna find out who this reading is for. And then again, just remember that we all have divine, or even if you're in a karmic cycle, we all have male and female energies in all of us. They're energies, Energy isn't gendered. It's just energy, So, but the function of it is your masculine energy is your energy where you go and get and you go and do and you're making things happen. You're protecting and providing for. And your female energy is your soft energy and your nurturing energy and your ability to receive from those people who want to hunt and provide for you, Wow. This is my bunny set. I love this bunny set. I really resonate with rabbits so much. Ooh, there's a nice one. Wow. Wowie. There's such a story here. Whoever's reading this is, I can tell that whatever journey this is with this person, you've really been through a lot with this person. There was a time when you thought they were going to be your ultimate wish fulfillment, but you had the Eight of Cups, that relationship, They were putting you in the Three of Swords, it looks like, at one time. They had you in a Hangman at one time. Oh, and here's King of Pentacles. Oh, there's Empress and a Knight of Wands. Queen of Wands. All right. So this message is for a Queen of Wands in the reverse. So that's interesting. With the Temperance and Magician both also reversed. So I feel like there is a Queen of Wands. So Queen of Wands, you are in this unbalanced energy because you're trying to manifest something, and whatever you were trying to manifest, Miss Queen of Wands, it just wasn't coming, With this Five of Wands, and then we have this Eight of Wands reversed, I feel like you've worked really hard and done a lot for this, but there may have been some competition going on in the background that you just weren't aware of, that you couldn't see. Somebody was putting you in competition, and maybe you just weren't able to see it. But let's just check this out. So there was with it's kind of almost giving me a feeling as well that this Magician energy is also representing this person that you're in no communication with. So this message is for a Queen of Wands who is in no communication with a Magician energy. So, the Magician card doesn't necessarily have to be just somebody who actually does magic or a warlock. It could just be somebody who's really good at manifesting tangible results. They could be somebody that you find like a really somebody who's really good at making things happen, or in the past has made things happen for you, and maybe like you saw them make things happen for you and all of a sudden they're not, and so it made you feel like, well, what's changed? Like something in this energy is different. Like with that Temperance, maybe you're not unbalanced, but or maybe you weren't the one who were unbalanced, but things are unbalanced now because you're no longer equally yoked. Okay? And they are wondering, but whoever this Magician energy is, they are wondering if you're happy without them. So many things remind me of you. I regret lying to you. You see, I said, maybe they secretly had you in competition. And I left when I saw you with someone else. So I don't know, like when they saw you with somebody else, I don't know if you're with somebody else, like in a romantic way. So maybe they just made assumptions. And but they saw you as somebody. So maybe like this person was just like jumping to conclusions. You know what this is actually making me think of? I feel you leaving me behind, but it's upside down. So I don't know if you guys ever seen, there was a series. What streaming service did I see that on? There was a series called Z that was about Zelda Fitzgerald and Scott F. Fitzgerald. And there, one of the last few episodes, there's like this scene where like Zelda's outside talking to this guy who does have the guy did have a crush on her, but she was just out there talking to him, and she was feeling like just kind of like at her wit's end and really just over a whole bunch of things. And the one person was just trying to comfort her, and her husband, F. Scott Fitzgerald, he was like standing on the path, seeing them afar off, and he just started drawing his own conclusions. Went back in the house, had this one girl blow him, and then like when she walked back in the house, she went to go to the office to talk to him and saw him doing that. So it was like I feel like when I see this, I left when I saw you with someone. I feel like this energy kind of, I feel like they probably saw you in a situation that like they just drew their own conclusions, So, because like I feel you leaving me behind, but it's upside down. So you were never leaving them behind. They just made this assumption on their own. I know I messed up everything. Yeah, you did, dude. Yeah, you did. That's you, dude. You did that. You did that, dude. You know what? Guess what, bro? I hate to be the one to tell you this, but assumptions are not facts, okay? Assumptions are just an assumption. I want to be more than just friends. Well, you know what? You should open your big man mouth and tell this person that that's what you wanted, Like, let's just assume that this Queen of Wands was like a high priestess energy, or let's assume that she has a good intuition most of the time. Like, just because somebody cares about you and loves you doesn't mean they should have to read your mind about everything, and that you should never have to open your big man mouth and tell people how you feel. If you feel the kind of way, you should say that. If you want something with them, you should say that. You need to say exactly what you... Oh, see, they want to feel that way again. Jeez, dude. Well, then open your big man mouth and go tell her, bro. Just go tell her. Dude, this person needs to tell you, I hid who I really am from you. I think it's upside down because I bet you already see it, Queen of Wands. I lost myself for a little while. So, maybe like this person, they have had to go disappear because obviously, I think they were the one who needs to find some balance, you know? Which, if that's the case, then maybe they had to leave for a while. You know, they had to, I am not available, but it's upside down. So I think they're trying to make you, they're trying to look. So if you're not in communication but you're aware of this person, they may be trying to act like they're not available and they're busy doing all this other stuff. But you know what? Don't believe this person, dude. That's bullshit. They're just making things up because um they're totally available, but they want to feel like this. They want to be more than just, you know what? They lost themselves for a little bit. I think this person, they made assumptions, and I think now they're at the point of realizing that they overreacted too quickly, and I feel like, so they don't know what they want to do, you know? Like, they do obviously feel a certain kind of way. Oh, here's forgiveness and for the streets. They want forgiveness because for some reason, whatever they saw made them feel for a minute like maybe you were for the streets, and maybe they're also realizing now that that is actually not the case. So, Holy Spirit, what should Miss Queen of Wands do about this person who's like making assumptions about her, but actually wants to be more than friends? And they want to feel that way again, but they also, like, obviously this person, dude, this is a whole bunch that somebody wanted to say. And also with these reverse cards, it's like things that they're like not willing to acknowledge properly. And look at this card falling all the way down here, dude. So desire, yeah, you know what? So this person, look, this person has desire for you, but they're just trying to hide it, dude. They're trying to hide it. Which, you know what, bro? That's not very honest of you. That's not very honest. How you want to be more with this person, but you're like not willing to, like, you're not willing to be transparent or communicate, and you're not willing to be honest and show yourself blessed. They don't, when they first met you, they felt like they were blessed, but I feel like they feel like they are not going to be a blessing to you, and or like when they first met you, this felt like a blessed connection, and they've lost that. So they want to get back in that feeling blessed with you energy again. Which, okay, I mean, that's I mean, I'm assuming that if this is coming up for you, Miss Queen of Wands, I mean, well, you were the Queen of Wands. I'm gonna look up real quick. Also, Queen of Wands reverse could be just a masculine who's in their Queen of Wands energy, which Queen of Wands usually represents somebody who's courageous and confident and independent, you know, having a fire element, you know. She's usually also seen as vivacious and warm, full of enthusiasm, you know. So, like, but reverse, it's the way this person is acting towards you is causing your sense of worth and self-respect to kind of like take a hit, and or you've possibly been attempting to when you were trying to balance the energies, were possibly, because we saw this, you were working really hard on it, right? So you were possibly attempting to negotiate or bargain or compromise with it. Like, you're trying to like meet this person in the middle, and you're just really trying to help balance it out. But what it was requiring of you to do this at this point, to successfully do that, is possibly detrimental to you. So I am going to say that you should not do that, because, you know, in divine union pairings, the real thing is that spirit needs you to choose you first, and spirit needs you to love yourself. Like, when we get our divine partners, even though we have this person in our lives to love them, we still have to love ourselves too. And then this person had said how, like, they lost themselves in you. And that's not good, dudes. You know, like, in loving each other, we still need to love ourselves, you know? Because we need to love each other as we love ourselves. And how are you going to love that person as yourself if you didn't love yourself first, you know? So I know there are those people out there who don't like messages that talk about that you have to love yourself because they didn't love themselves before meeting somebody who changed their life. But, you know, the whole point of going on these spiritual journeys is so that you can reconnect with yourself. And and at the bottom we have best friends. So I feel like, so this person, they feel like you're their best friend, but integrity is upside down, so they haven't been very honest. Yeah, and honesty and affection were what was like, oh, don't be jelly, but it's upside down. So this person was just really jealous. Yeah, whatever this was that made them feel like you were for the streets made them also really jealous. So they probably just think you're for the streets because they were jealous, you know what I mean? So, like, people, like, if they're not liking a friend or somebody that you're talking to, or they're just not happy with your socializing, they might, like, turn around and then in their anger and upsetness and frustration be like, oh, dude, this person's just a hoe, she's just a bust down, she's just a no good this and this. Because, you know, people say a lot of things when they're angry that they don't mean, and or later on they realize that that was not it, you know. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go grab another deck. I think I'm gonna grab a Romy, because we need to. We're gonna need to close this out with, like, it's like, okay, well, what should Queen of Wands, besides loving herself and making sure that she's balancing herself, what else should she be doing? Spirit, Holy Spirit, do you have, like, any more messages for this person, by the way, before we switch? So I think I'm gonna switch. What is this? Toxic love. So this is making you feel like it's toxic. You maybe, if you've recently been with this person, you may want to get a pregnancy test. If you're not pregnant, I feel like whatever they were doing when they were upset with you may have gotten somebody else pregnant. So somebody was mad at you and went and did this other thing, and now somebody else got pregnant. So who knows how that will really affect things, you know? So not only did he do the most, but now he's also gotten somebody else pregnant. Yeah, see? That's what comes of, you know, like, I mean, we all do things in our emotions, you know, but, you know, somebody got caught up in their feelings and didn't stop to, like, get all the information or communicate properly. And that is why communicating is so important in relationships, because what you think you know isn't always what you actually know until you find out for sure. You know, sometimes things can seem like something, and sometimes things aren't always how they appear, you know. So sometimes you just have to get more information and stop beating your ego and assume that, oh, you just always know everything and everything you think is what it is. It's like, you know what? Sometimes we all fuck up, and sometimes people like to think that they know everything when you don't know everything, okay? And maybe that's why you're going through this as well. You know what? Maybe you're just too in your ego, Mr. Magician. You know, so now you've been in your ego, and instead of manifesting this beautiful Queen of Wands that was in your life who gave you all this beautiful energy, now you're stuck with this other person who's pregnant, who you didn't want, who you don't even know, just out of a snap decisions that you made in haste, you know? So, wow. So we got a few things. So first of all, I'm going to read this one. And it says the whirling goddess. So not a single thread that has a head can go through the eye of the needle. certain thresholds can only be crossed with the heart. That's what I'm talking about. You are being asked to trust rather than understand so that you may leave the past behind you and embrace the beauty of your life's journey. You are ready. So, Queen of Wands, regardless of what happens with this magician, this is what I was feeling. Like, let's not even worry about this guy, okay? You may have been really worried about the situation, but I feel like for right now, with this baby making energy, toxic love, there was I mean, I personally like jealousy, generally speaking, but this lack of integrity, you know, and the fact that they, even while they were angry, the fact that they went straight to feeling like you were for the streets is just like, dude, you know what? Don't worry about this person, okay? They may not like that because look, healthy love is at the bottom, upside down. Yeah, it's just not in a healthy place right now. So, and we have this one. I like how that looks like it's like a moon or a planet out here, but then down here, it's like in the earth, we have this energy of creation, and it says, "I surge on the uprising wave of love. I was raw, and I was cooked, and I was burned. You're going through a cycle moved by forces stronger than your will. This is a karmic period, exactly, with grander cycles affecting smaller ones. And the smaller ones are not less important, but they do have to bow to the power of the great. Surrender to oneness with the magnificent unfolding divinity that is life itself." Yes. And then, lastly, look at this in the red. And this one is called Passion for Purpose. It says, "Love, like life, flows through the heart." Oh, look at these great messages about the heart. Your heart is questing for deeper meaning, and it desires certainty to your sacred tasks for this lifetime. I call to you now, the you that is beyond your mind, and the you that is your heart. To that you, I ask, what stirs the passion of your natures? Do that. Be that. So, yes, never mind this person, okay? This person is caught up in this karmic energy, but you are ready to get into this purpose that is meant for you. So, uh, like, how do I phrase this carefully? You should leave this person behind. You really need to 8 of Cups this, okay? So, and it's possibly not forever. Maybe they'll come back around whenever this stuff, this stuff that they are going through and working out, this is them stuff. This is them. You know what? This person, like, the fact that they got so jealous to the point that it triggered all this other stuff, like, um, you know, that's just, those are things they're going to have to work through this. They're going to have to work through this. That's not your fault. And I mean, you could wait if you want to, but if they've got somebody else pregnant, uh, and also if they're still not being totally honest with you, especially if they've got somebody pregnant and they're not willing to tell you that, dude, that's important. That's like hiding a big truth, dude. That's a big fucking truth, dude. To hide that, they lost themselves for a while, and then they're still trying to hide who they are from you, even though you see it and they know you see it, and then they still want to hide it. Oh, because they're just they wanted to just have fun with you at first, I guess, because they feel like you're their best friend. So, in the name of having fun, they feel like all this other stuff should be fine. It's not fine. You weren't fine. You know, all this like 8 of Wands. Oh my goodness, dude. Yeah, yeah, So, all this had you stuck and feeling bad. It's like, you don't need to be stuck and feeling bad. You know what? Let this guy, you know what? This magician energy, he can go and sit with all this bullshit that he's created for himself, and we're going to turn you upside down, okay? If you want to you don't have to be turned upside down and corrected, But, you know, if you balance out your energy, there's no reason that a Queen of Wands can't be a Divine Feminine, okay? So, you don't, whether or not you stay stuck and continue to feel like this, like, I feel like if you wait for this person, you're going to keep feeling like that. So instead of feeling like this person, instead of feeling like them, instead of waiting on them, embrace your inner goddess, love yourself, and then find your purpose and invest yourself in this purpose instead of waiting for this person, okay? And actually, you know what's funny about that? That almost kind of echoes, like, I had a conversation with some people earlier tonight, and we were all talking about the twin flame journey. And sometimes, there are seasons of separation, and the other person has to, like, go heal themselves and go work on them. And if you're way ahead of them and they just got started when you've been on it for a while, then you're not going to be equally yoked. You're not going to be on the same page. And it's like, so this person, they need to sort this out. I don't think that you should wait for them. That's my personal feeling based on what I'm seeing here. I don't think you should wait for them because, look, here's what I think, right? This is what I'm getting from this kind of situation, is that, first of all, they really do desire you, and they felt blessed when they met you, but somewhere along the way they've lost that. They lost their honesty, and then they were being jealous, but then they still want the honesty and affection from you while they're being a liar. Like, bro, get it together, man. You know what? You're being a total toxic asshole, and then you're knocking somebody else up and getting somebody else pregnant, and then not wanting her to know so that she don't get mad and stay away from you. Like, she has every right to stay away from you. Dude, who wants to be with somebody who's having a brand new baby with somebody else? Come on, dude. That little baby is going to be a constant reminder of your infidelities and what you did behind her back that you're still not willing to tell her about, even though you kind of know that she knows. Well, you still need to talk about it, dude. You have to own these things because it's about accountability and integrity. Integrity. It's that integrity piece. Integrity is more than just not lying. You know what I mean? It's like there's a degree of honesty that's more than just not telling lies. It's actually being authentic. It's like showing up, being your true self, representing things as they really are, not trying to be sneaky and deceptive and have all this other stuff going on in the background, because that's not okay. Because you know what? If the situation was reversed, you wouldn't want them doing it to you. If they did to you what you've been doing, you would be furious and feel so betrayed. But now that it's you doing it, you want to hide it and pretend like it's not happening. But it is happening. And you did that. And you did that because you were upset and you were jumping to conclusions. And you don't want to take you don't want to take accountability for jumping to conclusions. You don't want to even own the fact that you did that. And you wanna think that all your assumptions are the gospel truth, but then you also want to tell everybody else about how you only believe in facts. You don't believe in God because you just believe in facts. You just believe in science and anything that can be proved. But then your first assumption that you get worked up over about this other person, you run and take some damaging actions if this person is even really pregnant, and if this person even carries this baby to term. I mean, not everybody that gets pregnant carries their babies to term, So that doesn't, like, just because we see this baby making out here, I don't feel like this is not necessarily a permanent thing, So I feel like what's to come of that is still yet to be seen. But I just, this person, for all this, this person needs to come and tell you about this, okay? This and this. This person needs to come and talk to you about this. They have to talk about it. If this person comes back and they do not talk about it, I would definitely not take them back if they're not willing to own up to what's happened, okay? Because how are you going to build a relationship with this person, with this baby in your life, and there's still no honesty here? You know,